Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants. Those are the Le Bistro Jazz Cafe, Riverside on East La Quale, and the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach. And then there's the El Dorado Restaurant Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night, beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week we're going to be visiting with my friends Kevin and Inga McGinnis. They're expats from Canada who love to share their enthusiasm for Vallarta with visitors and friends. And what they've done is they've created Facebook groups like the Puerto Vallarta Happy Hour group. There's a walk and wobble, kind of a bar hop that they do. They have a craft beer lovers page, taco stand and cheap eats maps, so much more. So you're really going to love Kevin and Inga. We also have a new face, a new voice, I should say, associated with American English Tree. That's a school where English speakers who want to take Spanish lessons here in Vallarta or even online can learn to speak Spanish, and with their tuition, at the same time, they fund or they sponsor a Mexican who will be learning English. Her name is Kayla Mira, and she's one of Eddie Rodriguez's star students and now an instructor over at American English Tree. Kayla will be talking about the Changing Lives event that's actually taking place right now as I speak. Monday the 3rd over at La Puerta Barbecue. It's a sold-out event, so, we'll be talking about that anyway. We have Vallarta news and more, so let's see what's happening this week, the 3rd of March, in Puerto Vallarta, 2025. I'm going to have to apologize to you about my voice. I've had this cold thing. It's going around everywhere. And I haven't had a cold in forever. But anyway, I got an ear infection, and then I lost my voice for a few days. I'm still trying to get it back. And so I'm trying not to sound like a teenager going through puberty, so you'll just have to forgive me. Put up with this for just a little bit while. So anyway, I'm going to put off my story about moving to Puerto Vallarta, the one I was going to tell you, until I get my voice all the way back. And maybe by that time, I'm going to have Kim Bix. Kim Bix is the lady from Gringo for Gringo. She's going to come back on the show. Kim and Gringo for Gringo, they're the folks that helped me and Debbie through the process of obtaining our residency in Mexico. They also were very nice to introduce us to some folks who helped us get our Mexican tax ID numbers so that we could actually open up a Mexican bank account. Anyway, that whole story is going to come next week, so maybe I'll be able to get a little bit of my voice back by then. Last June actually, was the first time I've ever spent June in Puerto Vallarta. We were there for a couple of weeks. And I was shocked at the time that the quale was all dried up. I'd never seen that before. I don't know actually if it happens every year like that, but last year it did. And this year, even though the river's still running, I can see where while we're at the beginning of March, the first rains, they're not coming for a little while. We're not expecting them until the end of June, so that's a good 3.5 months from now. And already we're getting calls to conserve water from CIAPAL. CIAPAL is the government entity here in Puerto Vallarta that's in charge of getting water through the pipes. And here's what they say, this is kind of interesting to translate. Here it goes. Puerto Vallarta is about to enter the stagnation period, which is characterized by the low water level in the height of rivers due to the lack of rainfall, and this in turn reduces the production capacity in the supply sources. This natural phenomenon that traditionally presents itself from the month of March has reoccurred in the region in the face of the reduction in the incidence of rain in these recent years, and this 2025 already causes some havoc on the levels of CIAPAL Vallarta tanks that present lower levels. So, anyway, now is the time, I would say, to pay attention to your own water use. If you are living in Vallarta or if you're vacationing in Vallarta, I would just urge you to try to take shorter showers. And I do that. I take these Navy showers. I always do it. I've done it all my life. Basically, the water goes off while I wash my hair and I soap up. And then the water goes on to rinse it all off. And a lot of water gets saved in the process. And so maybe I just urge you to do that. I know that you're paying big bucks to stay right here in paradise. But hey, be kind to the environment and do what you can to conserve water. It would really be no bueno if water rationing had to take place here in Vallarta, and it does. It often happens here, and it happens more in the local blue-collar neighborhoods. For some reason, the tourist zones don't get hit with these water outages, but the outer neighborhoods do. And so let's keep these natives from getting restless. Anyway, save the water. Of course, with the lack of water and rainfall, we have dry hillsides here in Puerto Vallarta. There was actually a small fire up in San Sebastian just the other day, and a larger one up in Mascota before that one. So actually next week, stay tuned. We're going to be having a real live angel coming on the show. Her name is Christina Callahan. She's from Canada, and she runs a charity called Angels for Mexico. And what they do is they bring firefighting supplies from Canada to Puerto Vallarta. They have these surplus firefighting supplies up in Canada. And they bring them down and they equip the firefighters here. And you're going to meet Christina. And actually, we had an opportunity just the other day, Debbie and I, we had an opportunity to go up to where these firefighters train. And we watched some Canadian firefighters train some local Mexican firefighters up close and personal. In fact, you're going to be hearing from a firefighter from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. And also we're going to have a Parasalada, one of them local Vallarta bomberos, firefighter, of course. He'll be on the show next week with Christina. It's going to be a great episode, so stay tuned. It's going to be great. Now, last week I talked about the new trash collection plan in Puerto Vallarta, and it seems that they're getting pretty serious about what times you can leave your trash in your designated neighborhood trash heap, so to speak. So, in fact, there was a sign went up on the wall right next to our neighborhood trash heap, and it read in both English and Spanish. Here, I'll read you the English part. It says, "Please do not throw garbage on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Only on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 in the morning until 8 in the morning." So they're giving you like a 2-hour kind of a window there. It goes on to say, there are cameras. Anyone caught littering after hours will be fined. Again, the hours to throw away your trash are 6 in the morning until 8 in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They're getting serious on our block, and actually they're getting serious all around Puerto Vallarta. This is what it says about this in the Vallarta Reporter Online. It says, the manager of Puerto Vallarta City and Historic Center, Juan Pablo Martinez Torres, announced that beginning next week, municipal authorities will start reprimanding, warning, and fining those who dispose of garbage on streets and sidewalks outside established collection hours. This action follows the recent concession of waste collection services to a private company. This initiative stems from an agreement reached with tenants and business owners on the Boardwalk, Historic Center, and Romantic Zone areas. After nearly a month of communicating the schedules that they themselves established, we are now entering an awareness phase. Well, this sounds good. Through warnings. If we find trash on street corners, we'll identify the source. The responsible businesses or restaurants will first receive a warning, and upon repeated violations, the Inspection and Surveillance Department will impose appropriate fines or sanctions, he announced. Martinez did not specify the amount violators would be fined, but noted that the penalties are already outlined in the municipal income law, and the relevant agency will publish the corresponding fine structure. He encouraged community vigilance and reporting of violations. The idea is for neighbors to remain vigilant about others' actions. Violations can be reported to inspection and surveillance phone lines or directly to the municipal presidency, generating a report that will prompt a visit to the site and the filing of an official report. He explained, okay, talk about serious. And so there it is. The trash saga continues, folks. And it's getting trashier by the minute. I'll keep an eye on this as time progresses. And just remember, don't litter. And the camera's watching you. Now, I've been getting a couple of emails from some of you folks who've been concerned about a possible change. They've heard about requirements have changed for U.S. citizens wanting to come to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, just come to Mexico on vacation due to the current political climate in Washington, D.C., and, between Washington and Mexico City, maybe a little bit of a friction going on. But as of now, at least as of now, things haven't changed. This is from the Secretary of Foreign Relations de Mexico, dated February 28th, 2025, and it reads, in response to recent inquiries about visa requirements for U.S. citizens, we confirm that U.S. citizens do not need a visa to visit Mexico as tourists. Additionally, Mexico's current immigration regulations regarding this matter have not changed. So there you go. We have it directly from the Secretary's mouth. Pen, keyboard. That's right. No changes, at least for now, in you coming over and having to do something different than you already do. Now it's spring break time, and as a result, the U.S. State Department has offered up their outlook. Maybe their lookout. I don't know. Anyway, they have this don't do list here from the Puerto Vallarta Reporter. It says here, from Vallarta Reporter, the U.S. State Department The embassy issues annual spring break travel alert for Mexico. Puerto Vallarta gets a level 3 rating, he says. As spring break approaches, the U.S. Embassy has released its annual travel alert for Americans planning trips to Mexico. The advisory highlights potential risks, including crime and drug-related violence, urging travelers to remain vigilant and take appropriate safety precautions throughout their stay. The U.S. State Department has assigned various levels of travel advisories across Mexico, with several popular tourist destinations receiving specific classifications. Puerto Vallarta, level 3, which means reconsider travel. Sonora, also level 3, reconsider travel. And Cancun and Cabo, level 2, exercise increased caution. Additionally, 6 Mexican states currently carry level 4 advisories, which are do not travel advisories, due to significant security concerns. The embassy specifically warns travelers to exercise caution in downtown areas of popular spring break destinations, particularly after dark. Areas like Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum that attract large tourist crowds may present highlighted risks for visitors. Travelers should be aware of these specific concerns. Crime, for example. Crime can occur anywhere in Mexico, including popular tourist areas. It goes on drugs. Possession and use of drugs, including medical marijuana, is illegal and may result in lengthy jail sentences. Unregulated alcohol, it says here, contaminated alcohol has caused several illnesses and even death among U.S. citizens. Counterfeit pharmaceuticals. Fake medication is common and potentially dangerous. Sexual assault. Perpetrators may target individuals who are intoxicated or isolated. Water safety. Some beaches have dangerous currents and lack proper warnings or lifeguards. Medical emergencies. Private hospitals may charge higher rates than the U.S. and often require upfront payment. Weapons. All firearms and ammunition are illegal in Mexico. Travel issues. Public intoxication, public urination, and open containers in vehicles can result in arrests. And lastly, it mentions immigration violations. Overstaying visas can lead to fines and detention. And the article continues. He says millions of people vacation in Mexico without any problems each year. Stewart explains, typically the ones that do have problems are in places where they shouldn't be at that particular time. Security experts strongly recommend verifying health insurance coverage before departure. So do I. Travelers whose current plans don't include international medical coverage should consider purchasing supplemental travel insurance. Goes on to say the CDC advises checking whether your insurance has any exclusions and confirming whether it will make direct payments to foreign hospitals in order to avoid unexpected expenses. So, there you go. You've been properly advised and warned. And my suggestion, as well as others who have talked about this before with, don't look for trouble, and you won't have any. And, of course, no snorting lines of coke off of naked women's stomach, and you should be good. Just a little advice. As I said, got it from a local. Don't blame me. I have a link to that article from Vallarta Reporter online in the show notes. Now, of course, if you aren't a pre-adult college student, type of person, you might want to keep the thought in the back of your head that you may be encountering this variety of human species in great numbers during this period of time, the spring break. So plan appropriately, would you? Now, the next big event in Puerto Vallarta is going to be Semana Santa. Semana Santa is Holy Week. Semana Santa and Pascua in Vallarta this year are April 13th until the 20th. And of course, we'll be talking more about that in depth as the date approaches. Now, as the end of my voice is fast approaching, let's get to our interview, shall we? Our first guest is a newcomer to an old-time Vallarta institution. That one is American English Tree. And I've had Eddie Rodriguez, the founder of American English Tree, on the show, actually many times over these years. American English Tree is a school, really. It's where English speakers can learn Spanish in paradise here in Vallarta. And at the same time, they can sponsor a Mexican student who wants to learn English. Now, our next guest, her name is Kayla Muir. Kayla and Debbie and I have become good friends, actually. And Kayla, as I mentioned in the opening comments of the show, is a model student. And as a result, she's a pretty good, she's a great teacher. And Kayla is very enthusiastic about what they do at American English Tree. So she's really a perfect fit for us because we are enthusiastic about Vallarta and Mexico and getting closer to the people in general, aren't we? So now Kayla, she's going to be talking a little bit about the event that's happening right now. Actually, as I speak to you, this event has been totally sold out, so don't worry. But remember, you can support the event by supporting the sponsors of the event. You go to their restaurants, go to their businesses while you're in town. And you can also find out information in the show notes about not just the sponsors, but about the event and maybe make plans next March. Beginning of March is when it always takes place. And they always have these great bands. They all get together and put together quite a show. But it's all about changing lives. And like I said, if you can get tickets this year, make plans for next. Anyway, let's go right now to one of my favorite places in town. It's a roof overlooking a busy corner on Lázaro Cárdenas and Insurgentes to Restaurant San Lucas for a margarita. Yep, yeah, that's one of my top 3 margarita watering holes in this town. And let's talk with Kayla Muir with American English Tree in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Kayla, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So tell my listeners about yourself. Where are you from and what was your path to Puerto Vallarta?
So I'm from Portland, Oregon. I moved here in October of 2023. And, after a divorce and a couple vacations here to Mexico and falling in love with it, I figured, why not start a new life and live in paradise?
Why not?
So, yeah, and I've always kind of wanted to be bilingual, never really had the opportunity or the ability to practice Spanish. So that was really like a bonus for me for living here. And of course, the beach.
When did you come here?
October of 2023.
Okay.
So I've been here I'm coming up on a year and a half, actually.
So when you got here, could you speak any Spanish?
I spoke very little. I knew some basic stuff like ¿Dónde está el baño? ¿Cómo estás? Mi nombre es Kayla, right? Like very basic. I had done some Duolingo and I took one summer class. Mm-hmm. But other than that, no, I didn't know much. I had a very basic understanding.
But when you got here, that was one of the things in your mind.
Yeah, it was my first priority was to learn Spanish because for me, it's really important to show respect to the locals and, learn their customs, learn their culture, their food, their language, everything that I can to really be part of the community rather than just being in the community.
That's great.
Yeah.
Now, when did you become familiar with American English Tree?
I'm actually coming up on a year of classes with American English Tree. I found a comment on one of the group chats about Eddie offering a free week of classes. And I thought, well, you can't go wrong with a free week.
Right.
So I came to my first class and I was hooked. I knew there was no way I'm not going to take this class. I learned so much in that first class. And ever since then, my Spanish has improved tenfold compared to any other outlet or area that I was studying. I tried websites. I tried a tutor online. I tried all different applications. I tried listening to music and all kinds of stuff. And I just kind of felt like I was getting nowhere. So, but as soon as I got into those classes, man, I've been flying with my Spanish.
So what do you think that is? What's the difference?
I think that the method seriously works, right? So we start with the most commonly used verbs. And a lot of Spanish courses teach you past and future tenses later on down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that cuts you off from speaking half of the language, right?
Good
So
point.
we learn in this school, we learn all of the tenses from day one, right? And we start with the most commonly used verbs and how to build basic sentences. And the method that Eddie uses, it just works. It's almost like you're not having to go and memorize with a bunch of flashcards. It's just you're naturally remembering things as you go. And things are repeated so you can review. And it works. I've seen it so many times.
Wow. It's amazing. So that's his own recipe, right? I mean, he wrote all the books. He did all that, right?
Yeah, he told me he actually learned the teaching method through the United States military.
Yeah. Right.
And so he's applied that, and he spent years just dissecting both English and Spanish and the reasons why. That's my favorite thing. He knows why we're saying things the way we are saying, like every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't know it, he's going to find it out.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I've actually seen him on a Spanish language radio show, talking to obviously Spanish speakers and telling them why. And they look at him and say, "Oh, I didn't even know that."
Right.
Right. They didn't even know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's actually really interesting because, as an English speaker my whole life, it never occurred to me why we say the things that we do. I've been learning so much English along my journey of learning Spanish.
Oh, that's very interesting.
And it's interesting. I can actually, in the 1 year that I've been going to the school, I've actually learned enough that I've become a level 1 teacher. So I teach the basic level 1 classes, and I feel more comfortable teaching Spanish than I do English because Eddie has taught me all of the reasons why and all the little things. But in English, gosh, I don't even remember those things. You learn them just naturally from conversation and stuff. So it's actually harder for me to teach English at the school than it is Spanish.
Interesting. Do you teach English there?
So I started obviously taking classes with the school, and then a couple months in, I started volunteering at the school to help with the English classes.
Okay.
And then I inherited a group of teenagers, and then I inherited the children at the Rise orphanage.
Okay.
And so I was working with them for a few months before our new Zona Romantica location opened up. And that's when I moved to managing that location. But working with the children at Plaza Caracol and at Rise was where I started. And it was so much fun. The kids taught me so much. I taught them so much, right? And that's where my journey kind of started, working for the school. And then since then, I've become the manager of the Zona Romantica location.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right. So everybody take note. We have a model student here. Okay. She speaks Spanish really well. And she could be your teacher too. How about that? Let's talk about how people can sign up for American English Tree.
So we generally start by giving you a couple free classes. You can take a placement test online to get a better idea of what level we should test you out in. If you sink, we're going to lower your level, and if you swim, we'll keep you there. And so basically, what we do is we start in whatever level you're going to start in. I actually started towards the end of level 1, and our levels, we have 10 levels total for Spanish. So I started at the end of level 1, and I'm now in level 7. And so basically, once you start with a class, you continue with that class. So when that class is done with level 1, they just continue on to book 2. So your classmates become your best friends. You learn together. People in our group classes, they make study groups and all kinds of fun stuff. So contact us. We'll give you a few free classes. We'll see where you go. And you just continue on as long as you're here and as long as you want to study.
That's fantastic. All right. Let's talk about changing lives. They've got a big event coming up now. It's going to be over at La Huerta.
Uh-huh. So Changing Lives is our program where we give free English classes to students in the area, including the kids that I was teaching at the Rise Orphanage. We work with the women's shelter, all kinds of people. And our goal is to better their futures and help them be able to earn more money. You know, it's a touristy town and most people speak English here. So in order to make something of yourself, speaking English really helps. So and that's one of my favorite things about working for the company. I feel really good about helping not only the Spanish learners, but the English learners and helping better everybody's future and bringing the community together. So anyways, that's what our Changing Lives program is. Every year we have an event to help support this Changing Lives event. It's a fundraising event. It's a huge live music, huge, beautiful venue, La Huerta, by the way. It's on the river. It's a huge venue. And this year we're going to have like 10 or 15 live performers. We're going to have mariachi. We're going to have folkloric dancing, mechanical bull, all kinds of fun stuff. And there will be lots and lots of prizes. We have local restaurants and bars and spas and you name it. We've got tours, gift cards, all kinds of freebies. So all of the money that we take in at this event helps us continue the work for Changing Lives for the year.
Very, very good. All right.
Okay.
Well, take a look at that in the show notes. I'll have all that information there at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Am I missing anything else? Is there anything you wanted to add, Kayla?
I really want to say thank you to all the businesses that have supported us. It's been a lot of work organizing the event, but everybody has been so generous. And, that's one thing I love about it here. We all work together to help build this community into the beautiful community that it is. So, and it really shows at this event. So thank you to everybody that has sponsored us and helped us along the way, the bands, the performers, all of that. It's just been so great to see everybody come together.
It certainly is. And it's really great to be able to introduce you to my audience. You bring such enthusiasm to the table here and to and to this Changing Lives event, and of course to American English Tree. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Kayla.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I hope I get to do it again sometime.
You sure will. All right, thank you so much, Kayla. What did I tell you? That energy, right? All right, I got links, and I got phone numbers, and I got emails, and I got WhatsApps, and I got everything that you need to get a hold of the folks at American English Tree. They're in the show notes. Now, next up, we have a really lovely couple. They're from Canada. They made Vallarta their home, and they love to share things that they love about Puerto Vallarta with friends that they meet through their various Facebook groups that they've created. Their names are Inga and Kevin McGinnis. And as I said, both of them are from Canada, but Kevin, as you'll notice from his accent, Kevin's originally from Liverpool, England. And their Facebook groups include craft beer lovers. They've got a Puerto Vallarta happy hour page. And with that, they also collaborate with the famous happy hour board that I always talk about. Kevin does guided walks up to the cross, up that hill that's above downtown. There's a big old cross. And they do a walk and wobble, kind of a pub crawl thing. And they do that almost every week during high season. And Kevin has a taco and cheap eats map. Actually has 3 of them. He has a craft beer map. And they do all this stuff for the love of Vallarta. They don't take any tips. They don't charge any fees. There's no money changing hands. They just do it, and they're amazing. And you know what? You need to meet them. So what happened? We all met at another one of my favorite restaurants to do interviews in. You've been there with me before. It's called Moro Paraiso. We went there with a couple of listeners that I told you about last week, Russ and Susie from New York. We also did an interview with Russ and Susie actually on the same afternoon, but we're going to save that treat for another episode. So let's go right now to one of my top 5 margarita places in all of Puerto Vallarta, way up the Rio Quale, to Restaurant Moro Paraíso in Paseo del Guayabo in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And let's meet Inga and Kevin McGinnis. Inga and Kevin, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where are you from? And what was your path that led you here to Puerto Vallarta? Who wants to start? You want to start? Inga?
Yeah, sure. I was born in Canada, just outside of Toronto, and he was born in Liverpool, but we ended up meeting in Canada. So, yeah.
All right, in Liverpool. So, how long? When did you move to Canada?
To Canada in 1982.
1982. Wow. All right. So, all right. Excellent. And what was your first time that you came to Puerto Vallarta?
We think it's about 20 years ago, maybe. The very first place we went to stay at was Casa Isabel. Isabel herself is from Liverpool, so that was a really kind of fun connection for us.
Wow.
And when we arrived, we got off the plane and she said, "Drop your cases, we're taking you out." So her and her husband, Dave, introduced us to Puerto Vallarta and took us to all the famous bars, Revolution Bar and Apache's and a bunch of different places. And that was our introduction to Vallarta, and we fell in love.
Wow. Well, that's a heck of a way to meet Puerto Vallarta because they know how to have a good time, right?
Yes, exactly.
I guess we learned from them
Yeah.
about showing people around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was very important to us at the time. It's a really good introduction. So,
and this is kind of what you do now. We're going to get to that in a little bit because that's why you're here, because I'm so impressed with what you both do.
Thank you.
When did you finally decide to move here?
I'd say we came here for 3 or 4 visits, I guess, and we both lost our jobs. And what year was that? Well, you lost yours first. I don't remember what year it was. But anyway, he lost his job, and then in July of whatever year that was, and then in November, I lost mine. We both work for the same company.
Uh-huh.
So by July the following year, we just looked at each other one day and said, "What are we doing? Why are we still here?" And trying to grind through at our age with trying to find new jobs and such. So we just looked at each other and said, "Let's move. Let's do it."
And that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Yes.
so far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to hear that.
Yeah. So we always wanted to retire somewhere warm, and we always wanted to retire somewhere in Mexico. It's just losing our jobs pushed it up quite a bit sooner than we had originally intended.
Right.
Because when you lose your job at an older age, it's a lot harder to find, a good career again when you're like 50, whatever. So,
Right.
yeah.
I was, 56?
You're 56 or 58 or something. Yeah.
This was 52.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So that was how long ago?
We moved here December 2015.
Okay. Wow. You've been here 9 years?
9 years.
Yes.
9 years. And best thing you ever did, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, marrying her was the best thing I ever did. This is the second.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we won't ask about the first.
And then the kids, of course.
Oh, that's excellent. All right. All right. So, and what part of Vallarta did you settle in?
We originally moved into the Cinco de Sembre area. Actually, we moved here with just 4 suitcases and no place to stay.
Uh-huh.
So we lived in a hotel for 2 or 3 months in Cinco de Sembre while we looked for a rental. And then we were there, found a rental and stayed in that rental for about 9 months, and then moved to where we are now, which is on the river in El Romance.
Ah, okay. Very good. All right. So, hey, you're not too far from where we are right now, as a matter of fact, right? Well, way up the road over here.
Yeah.
I have to thank, by the way, the people over at Moro Paraíso for letting us, use one of their tables. Of course, we're drinking, so I guess, there's a way to pay for that on the side. All right, so let's talk about what you do here. The things that really impress me are you do like a walk and wobble.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. What's that like?
When we first came to Puerto Vallarta, it was really hard to find a happy hour, and we were on a budget. So we found a couple and whatever, and then, of course, a few years later we moved and came here, and we had this idea of starting the happy hour group where we could find all the happy hours and promote them and share them online or whatever. And then we came up with the idea of a pub crawl, and then we came up, it wasn't my idea, of the name, the Walk and Wobble.
Okay.
Which I think was one of the reasons it was so popular. It's just that catchy name, and of course it attracted like-minded people that like to drink and go on a pub crawl. And just
the main goal was just to introduce tourists or even long-term residents to bars and restaurants that they might not known have been there, because some of them are a little bit hidden. Twisted Palms is always a regular stop, and I mean, it's not the easiest to find if you don't know where it is. So we wanted to introduce people to great prices and great bars and help promote them and have a good time in the process.
Yeah. So how do you find the happy hours? You just basically walk around and look at the signs. How do you do it?
Yes.
Trial and error, and then some people let us know of a new happy hour or whatever, or they'll post on the happy hour group.
Okay.
But a lot of it is just research on Facebook, walking around. If we see a sign that has a happy hour, we take a picture. A lot of people think that every time we post a happy hour that we're actually at that bar, but that is not the truth, because we couldn't possibly do that every day.
No.
My nose would be really red if that was the case.
So a lot of it is just research, and messaging the bars and restaurants, asking them, is it your happy hour still the same? Have you changed it? Have you added anything? So it's just a lot of legwork.
Right. And then that's a Facebook page, right?
It's a Facebook page called the Puerto Vallarta Happy Hour Group.
Okay, very good. And I'll have a link to that in the show notes. So if you can't type it yourself on your Facebook thing, go to the website and find it there. All right. So can you give me a kind of an example? Now, when you do the walk and wobble, obviously you promote it. So is it a certain day of the week? Is it what?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, go ahead.
Not written in stone, but we usually we tried to do it on Tuesdays, because that's when I did my hike to the cross. So I could do all my work all in one day, so I'm not stretched out during the week.
Yeah.
So I do the hike to the cross in the morning, and then come home, and we'd start the walk and wobble at around 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. And we start at Bar La Playa, because a lot of tourists don't get to that place, and their happy hour goes from 3 till 5, and then we take them to between 3 and 5 other bars.
Okay.
All in their respective happy hours.
During the happy hour.
During the happy
you've got
hour.
it timed so that when you're there, it's during their happy hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a bit tricky sometimes, because a lot of the bars have the same type of happy hour, 3 till 5 or 4 till 6. So we really have to research one that starts early and one that finishes late, because you can't get to them all otherwise, because they're all in the same 2 hours. So it takes a little bit of tweaking sometimes too.
Yeah.
And we started out doing it once a month, then we went to twice a month, and then a couple of times we did 4 in a month. But we took a long break after COVID, and we didn't do it all during COVID, and then we took a long break, and we just started up again. We did one last month, and we're going to do one again in February. We'll probably do one a month from now on, but it was a lot more in the beginning, but it's a bit much. It's a bit too much, right?
So this is all done in a 2-hour period of time. Is that what I'm getting to know? Or
About
how long does it take?
4 or 5 hours.
Okay, so you're like spending some good time in each place, right?
Yeah, about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, get out your timer and go. Okay, go start.
And we tend to have between 30 and 40 people. We cap it at 40 because it's too much otherwise for the bars to be able to handle the crowd. But yeah, so we try and do like 45 minutes in each bar. But because we have 30 or 40 people, then we have helpers that it's like, okay, we'll take the first 15 people to the next bar. If you're done your drink, then you can go to the next one with a leader or whatever. And then some people want to stay behind and finish their drink so that the next bar doesn't get hit with 40 people all at once. Because
so it's staggered a little bit, right? You can't make 40
martinis all at once, right? So
Well, Al can.
Well, Al can, yeah.
Al can, can't he? All right. So tell us about what's your favorites? What are your favorite happy hours? What would you say?
Well, this here, Morro Pariso, is not a happy hour, but this is one of our favorite places because the drinks are very reasonable and very good
Yeah.
and strong.
Yeah, they're
And it's
potent.
relaxing here on the river.
And then our other favorites, in no particular order, Bar La Playita, which is just a tiny bit south of town. Next one is
At Lindamar Resort.
Culture, which is on Carranza. Next one is Bar La Playa and Twisted Palms.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
kind of our
That's your
regular.
That's your regulars.
Yeah, they're not necessarily on the walk and wobble because we try and switch it up a little bit with
Yeah.
because we don't want to go to the same ones all the time. But
No.
those are kind of the regular ones that we go to personally,
Okay.
like
All right.
on any given day, unrelated to the walk and wobble.
Excellent, excellent. I ran into Al not too long ago. He says they're doing trivia night over there at the Twisted Palms. So
Yeah.
I'll have Al on the show pretty soon. We'll talk to him about that.
Okay.
All right. So so margaritas. Your favorite margaritas? What would you say? Would they be here or where? Or
La Playita at
La
Lindamar.
Really?
La Playita.
And here. Yeah.
And here.
And they do. Yeah, La Playita does the does a 2-for-1 happy hour, right?
Yeah.
Don't they?
Yes.
Like twice a day, right?
Yeah, 12 till 1 and 5 till 6.
And a margarita's 48 pesos. And you
For a
only
small one.
need 3.
Oh, okay.
Or
there you
2.
go.
or even 2 sometimes.
Now, is that just an hour? It's like an hour-long one.
Yeah.
So you got to drink them fast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So keep that in mind. All
But
right.
you can put drinks in the bank.
No.
You can?
Well,
can.
Okay.
some people can.
All right.
My wife just kicked me under the table.
All right. You all try that. See what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
And let me know. Let me know if it works for you. But La Playita is beautiful. I mean, it's probably got the best view other
Yeah.
than this one here.
Yeah.
which
Conchas
is-
definitely.
Chinas is beautiful.
The hike is amazing.
And yeah, often we'll walk there because you can walk there from Los Muertos Pier, like all along the beach and go over the rocks. It's a beautiful hike. And yeah. So
Okay. All
that's
right.
one of
Yeah,
our favorites.
Yeah, I got to take that. I got to take that hike one day. I got to do that. Can you do it without getting your feet wet?
Yes.
If the tide is in, you might get a little bit wet, but we've never gotten wet, right?
Well, all right.
Some people have, but never us.
What does it take? About 45 minutes to walk that?
Exactly 25 minutes from the pier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
But it will take longer because you're going to be stopping for photos.
Yeah, it's such a
Guaran-
beautiful. So you
guaran-
you
guaranteed.
end up stopping and taking pictures because it's so beautiful. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, keep that in mind, you guys. I mean, you got to be a little bit physically fit. You got to be able to do that. No wheelchairs, but get yourselves over there. No walkers either, I don't think. All right. Speaking of walking, let's talk about that hike to the cross.
Yep. I started that originally because the first time I went to the cross, I got lost. And I just took the wrong way. And everyone's telling me it's really easy, but it's not. It is easy when you know it, really easy. But I just thought when I moved here, that I'm going to offer to take people there for free. Just like the happy hour thing, the walk and wobble is free. We don't charge anybody. And that like really grew. A game that I think the most people was 32 people.
Wow.
And the least I had was like 10.
Have you ever lost somebody?
No.
Okay.
And we've had all ages. We had, I think the oldest gentleman we had was 78. And we went a bit slow for him, but he made it and he loved it. And it's just, I go up there and I say thank you to the universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's my place where I just,
Where it works for you.
yeah, it's just, and the views and everything. And then just seeing the people when you take people up there and seeing how happy they are and they're all taking photographs. And then at the end of it, and they're all thanking me and like trying to tip me, which I do not accept tips. I'll accept a beer now and again.
Yeah, there you go. That's how it's done.
Yep.
All right. So, and they also, they've got like a little viewing platform up there now,
Yes.
don't they?
Yeah, which is about 6 flights approximately.
Right. So if you haven't gotten enough stairs and steps.
You can take some more stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I still do that every time I go up.
Yeah.
How many stairs? How many steps?
From the bottom, it's at 200 from the bottom of where the steps start.
Yeah.
It's approximately 225.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's basically from the Malecon, it takes about 20 minutes course, me being in
Depending, of course, on your fitness, right?
me being in supreme physical condition, I have done it in 9 minutes and 48 seconds.
You have?
Yes.
No. Oh,
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I'm bragging.
Oh, wow. That's great. Okay. It sounds like the challenge is on you guys. See how fast you can do it. Wow. No, that's amazing, though. And that was probably on a nice, cool day, I would hope.
No.
No, it was hot.
No. But I always did the hikes of the cross in the mornings.
Okay.
So
it's cool.
Nine o'clock.
You don't want to do it late. Like 9:30 is when you usually started it, wasn't it?
Even 9 and 9:30.
9:30,
I would do.
All right. Where do you start?
We used to start at the at that time it was the Union Brewery.
I think it's called Oyster Grill now.
Oyster Grill.
By
Oyster Grill now,
Mandela.
right by Mandela Club.
Yeah. By
Okay.
Mandela
We
Club.
just meet at the circular monuments there,
Mm-hmm.
sculptures,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
The crazy chairs.
Yes,
yeah,
the crazy
yeah,
chairs.
yeah.
Yes.
And I'd advertise it on TripAdvisor and a couple of Facebook groups, and it was very rewarding.
All right. So how do you do it? I mean, how do you actually get it? What's the path? Right up that street?
You walk straight up the street. There's a couple of little turns here and there and wherever, and but it's fairly easy to find, but you can get lost. And I didn't want people to get lost, so I found that route and took people that way, and then I found a route so it's not so boring. Coming back, that was different.
Okay.
So we went through a really cool hood, and we actually fed dogs going up there, and we fed the mules and the horses, and people would bring apples, and I would bring a pack of, luncheon meat or whatever for the dogs. And,
there you go.
just-
You're a favorite up there.
Yeah. And then I'd try and get people to pick up garbage.
Yeah.
Because, some people drop garbage up there and wherever.
Right. And we're getting ready for our new garbage plan here in Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
We all got tinnitus from all the dinging and ringing.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah, both things we've done just because we want to give back. We're just really thankful to be here and thankful that, we chose
I'm
this
gonna cry.
place. And yeah, that's why we're doing it for free. We don't want to make any money. We don't want to take kickbacks. We don't want free drinks, nothing like that. We just want to help people love the city that we love and move to, really.
And plus, we definitely don't want to make money, because if we start making money, we're not legal to work here
That's right.
or make money or take money from Mexicans. So that's why we did everything for free and refused to accept tips. It just
Well, it's not our thing anyway.
not our thing.
No,
We're
you're
just
doing
doing
it.
it for fun.
Yeah. Well, you guys have got big hearts.
So,
you got big hearts. And people love you.
She does.
Well, okay. Let me write that down. All right. Let's talk about. All right. So we've talked about the walk and wobble. We've talked about the walk to the cross. Let's talk about that. Go back a little bit to walk and wobble and happy hours. You're involved with the happy hour board, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
So tell us about that. We've talked about it on the show, and it's a work of art. It's amazing what happens with this happy hour board. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, yeah, I didn't create it. A friend of ours, Craig Moulton, created the website happyhourboard.com, and it lists all the happy hours in town in real time, as well as listing the upcoming happy hours in the next hour. So you can go on the thing. If it's 2:00 in the afternoon, you click on the happy hour board and it'll tell you all the happy hours that are current and all the ones that are upcoming in the next hour. So it's, like you said, a work of art. It blows my mind how he created it. And we feed him the information. Craig lives in Spain. He does this for fun. For us, he used to live in Puerto Vallarta. Loves Puerto Vallarta. He just does it for fun. And we feed him the information of what the happy hours are in town. I message him regularly because I'm updating the list on the Facebook page constantly of the changes. And then I just message him and tell him what the changes are, and he uploads it onto the website. So we try and keep it as current as we can, both the Facebook page and the happy hour board. But if we don't get fitted the information, then, obviously there's sometimes going to be errors. But and he's talking about doing an app for Android and for iPhone as well. So hopefully that's coming soon.
That'd be very interesting. Okay, so you can find the happy hour board. It's a Facebook page, and I think there's a link there that'll take you to the website, right?
Yes, there is. Yeah. www.happyhourboard.com is the website, and our group is the Puerto Vallarta Happy Hour group on Facebook.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so and then if you don't see a happy hour on there that you know exists, by the way, you could they
Yes,
can get
let
a
us
hold
know.
of you, right?
Yes, absolutely. Just message us
100%.
or just put it on the page yourself. Anybody's welcome to post. We encourage the members to post on the page. Not that many do. We would love more people to do that rather than us always posting the happy hours. If you're out somewhere and you're having a great time at a happy hour, take some pictures and post it on the page. We love audience participation and we don't get enough of it, actually.
Oh, that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
All right, well, I'll have a link to that as well. All those in the show notes. Let's talk about your other thing, your craft beer page,
Yes.
Kevin. My wife's a huge craft beer fan. In fact, to a fault. So tell us about that page. What's going on?
I'm also a craft beer lover. That's why the group is called the Puerto Vallarta Craft Beer Lovers Group, not the craft beer nerds or geeks or snobs. And what I try and do is just to try and find out where you can find craft beer in town. Now, 9 years ago when we first moved here, there was not a lot of craft beer bars or breweries, and now we have like lots. We're basically getting like north of the border, and we just try and share any information, any new beers, any new bars, and not just for Western Jalisco, but also for Western Nayarit.
Ah, okay, good. So this is for those people that are, up there in the Bucerias area and stuff of that nature.
I go there too. So.
You do?
And San Pancho, there's a great little brewery there. And
yeah, tell us about what's the brewery there? Is it called the San Pancho Brewery? What's it called?
Cerveceria San Pancho.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and good stuff, huh?
Cool spot,
right?
They don't make the beer on premises, but I think they make it in Guadalajara and bring it into town.
Okay, all right. The craft beer places that are in town now are what, Monzon and
Las Muertas Brewing, Yambac, and El Terrible. They're the only brew pubs, I think.
Okay,
they all brew their own beer.
Right. There's a new one up in what is it?
Ixtapa?
Something Grande up there. Remember?
So that's the one in Ixtapa, I think. Amica.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Amica Brewing.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet.
Okay, but we have to get over there.
I will be getting there soon.
Get over there for sure. All right.
Actually, I haven't been to Buckless yet in Bucerias, and I would like to definitely visit there. Maybe next week when she goes to Canada.
Ah, all right. This is your chance. This is your chance to cut out of town. Now, when you do this, you got your own car? Do you ride the bus? How do you get around?
We have a car. We do like taking the bus, but as soon as COVID hit, then we stopped taking the bus a lot. So, but now we're not too scared about getting on the bus. So we'll take the bus or Uber or taxi at a stretch.
If we're drinking, then we'll take an Uber or walk or whatever. But a car was not in the plans when we moved here. But
no, so I mean that's kind of a thing that I thought about. Do you get a car? Do you not get a car? And
we were never going to get a car. But then, life was still going on here pretty good during COVID, all things considered, compared to other places in the world.
Yeah.
And
this was our place, Morro Preso.
Oh, it was the way to get. That was your getaway.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of people and you're away from the crowd, so we felt very safe.
Fresh air and
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, this is totally all about that.
Yeah.
Right out here.
Yeah. So we ended up getting a car just because we didn't want to get in taxis and Ubers and during that time. So yeah.
All right. So craft beer. So I'll have the craft beer lovers Facebook page. I'll have that also link for that in the show notes. You got a favorite? You have a favorite craft beer place or favorite craft beer? I don't want to put you on the spot, Kevin. So
I'm going to take the fifth.
Okay, good.
But we do have some fantastic beers here. Like just as good as north of the border.
Yeah.
Some great brewers and even the brewers in town are basically Americans, but there's also some fantastic Mexican brewers and some fantastic Mexican craft beers.
Indiciente is a Mexican brewer.
Indiciente, yes, and
right?
that's in Pitial. And his beer is 9 out of 10.
Really?
It's really good.
It's not a brew pub, but
not-
he just sells it. He brews it in Pitiel, and then he just sells it in cans in the Deposito next door. But the beer is phenomenal.
Oh, I got to
Yeah.
go look for this place.
Yeah.
All right. Show me where it is.
Okay, it's on my craft beer map.
It is? Dang. Okay, let's talk about maps. Craft beer maps. You have also a taco stand map.
Taco stands and inexpensive eats. It's basically to take away any intimidation for tourists that come here. Because I know when we first came down here, it was really hard to make a choice to go to a taco stand because you hear all these horror stories. But once you live here for like a few years, you find out that they're basically
some of the best food.
gourmet and incredibly inexpensive.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite taqueria?
We have a few.
For Al Pastor, our favorite one is on
Lazaro Cardenas.
just past the Emilio Zapata Market.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, inland. Tacos a la Vera Cruzana. Yeah, that's the name. It's a long name. I always forget. Anyway, yeah, he used to be the guy from Pancho's Tacos.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes,
And so he opened up his
he
little
opened up
stand.
his own. He left there. He opened up his own, and it's just past the market.
Jeez.
And it's great,
Really?
Pastor.
All right. When you say just past the market, north or south, just past the market? I mean, up the hill or down the hill?
Towards the river.
West of the river and in between before the market,
Okay.
I believe.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Well,
don't
that's
ask
all right.
me about directions because I'm horrible.
Oh, it's all right. It's
Anyway,
okay.
it's on Lazaro Cardenas, right by the market.
Right by the
Yeah,
Mercado.
right.
Oh, we'll get it there. We'll get it.
Just
Well, all right. So how did you do? So, I mean, that's how you put this together. You went to all of these places and tried them and said, okay, I'm going to put you on my map.
No.
I had a couple of helpers, and also I got some reviews from TripAdvisor, which I put on the maps. And then I would go on Facebook or wherever, and I'd find out opening times, so I could put the opening times on there.
Okay.
The ones that we've tried, I recommended what to order or what to try. Gave the prices, opening hours.
Yeah, we definitely have not tried them all because
No,
you just
definitely
can't.
not.
There's way too many.
This plastic chair wouldn't hold my weight if I tried them all. But we've tried lots, and we have people there's a guy from Mexico City who's American, and he comes down here like 2 or 3 times a year, and I call him the taco guru, and he gives me reviews, and I can't write reviews like him. My reviewers taste good, tastes okay. His reviews are lots of big words which I don't
They're
understand.
flowery and stuff.
Like really, he's a great writer.
He's a very
smart
good
guy.
writer.
Oh, wow. All right.
Um,
So
well, look-
yeah, we
look, I'm-
steal other people's reviews. It's the whole point is just that the taco stands are on the map. So if people I live in this area and I want to find out what taco stands are in my area, they can just go on the map and see what's close to wherever their Airbnb is or hotel or whatever.
Takes away the intimidation of a taco stand for tourists, right?
Sure.
It was intimidating for us, and now it's not.
That's fantastic. What's the weirdest stuff? What is the weirdest thing you ever ate here?
Cabeza.
Yeah. Same?
I haven't.
Okay.
I do not try cabeza. Just
Are
the thought
you
of
going
it.
to translate? Can translate that for the
that's
the listeners.
that's parts of this head. It could be
Yes.
anything, right?
Yeah.
Cabeza could be
Anything.
like
Could be
the
the
eyes,
cheeks, the eyes,
you name it, right? It's all
yeah.
there. Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
All right.
not
Yeah,
going to
no.
happen for me.
Yeah, no, but there we go.
I've done it once, and alcohol was involved. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it. But what I do remember was it was delicious,
Yeah, of course it was.
like really good.
Tasted like chicken.
Not really.
No, probably not.
It's just I don't know.
All right.
It's the mind thing. You got to get over the mind thing.
Yeah.
But
When I'm sober, I won't get over it. Maybe one day I'll have a couple of drinks and have another one.
and go venture into that into the wild again. All right. So now you just all right. So I'll have. Can I use your map? Can I put it in the show notes? Is it okay with you
Oh yeah, for sure,
for the taco map?
definitely. There's
Right,
three
now,
three maps.
There's 3 maps.
There's actually 4. There's a taco stands and inexpensive eats map, which covers Western Nayarit and Western Jalisco.
Okay.
There's a map which focuses more on South Side or downtown.
Mhm.
So the other map has so many on there, it's like a little hard to navigate for people. But if they want to find something, they can find it. But for people living downtown or in Romantic Zone, I made this one specifically for that area. It also includes a couple of taco stands that I haven't tried in Cinco de Diciembre. And the only reason I put them on is because they got fantastic reviews from the gentleman, Peter.
Yes, Peter.
Peter from Mexico City, who recommended them big time. So I put them on.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'll have all three of them then in the show notes, if that's okay with you.
Yes, absolutely.
Happy Hour, Craft
Happy
Beer,
Hour map.
and actually 4. There's the South Side and the State one.
Oh, there's another one. Okay.
Yeah.
4. Okay. All right. So, and you mentioned that you have a craft beer one too, craft beer map.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
that research was fun.
I bet it was. Somebody's got to do it, Kevin.
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to do the dirty work.
All right. Am I missing any of your special things you got going?
No,
I have one other group which I basically run mostly by myself. My wife does help occasionally, especially when I need to be closed down. It's called, just for any British people that come here, it's called the British Connection. Puerto Vallarta British Connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a small group.
It's just, there's not many Brits here.
No, but there are a few.
There's a few, and we get together every Friday.
Right.
If any Brits are in town.
What do you do, like toss tea? What do you guys do?
Drink beer, of course.
Tea and scones with strawberry and cream. No, we drink beer because the British like their beer.
They like their beer.
Especially good beer.
Yeah.
And we do not drink it warm.
Okay, so that's I was going to ask you that. So
put that out there.
That's not what happens, right? That's a big lie.
It's a long story, which we won't go into, but I know why.
I'm going to have pictures of Kevin and Inga in the show notes. You can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com and look for this episode where we're going to be talking about happy hour groups and all that other good stuff. So I'm sure that this must be. I know you say that you don't get any money for this, but this must be very rewarding for you, right?
Yes, in the relationships that we've made, and I'm watching other relationships being made. And the people around this table are all because of what we've been doing. And the one story I like to tell is about the 2 couples from Calgary, Canada, who came on Walk and Wobble, and they did not know each other. And that was probably about 5 years ago. And now they are best friends back in Canada, like really, really close. And for us to see something like that just
makes it all worthwhile.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like beautiful.
Yeah. Lots of relationships have been formed on the Walk and Wobble because, like Kevin said earlier in the program, it's, we're all like-minded. Obviously, the people who are going on the crawl like to have a drink. And so you're meeting like-minded people and introducing other people. And we've made lifetime friends now through the Walk and Wobble. We have friends from California that come down here twice a year, and we always hang out with them. We hang out with you guys that are sitting around the table here. So, it's been very rewarding.
And because of it, we have places to stay in New York. Very expensive place. And my wife's never been. We have places to stay in Western Canada, Western United States,
California,
Florida, and we'll probably use them.
Yeah.
Because, what goes around comes around, and it's all about giving, and the more you give, the more you will receive. And it doesn't have to be monetary. That's me.
Am I missing anything? Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Well, I want
thanks for having us.
Everything we do is just to help people because we know what it felt like to be new and to not know anything. We remember what it was like not knowing where things are, being, like Kevin said, being intimidated, scared to go to a taco stand. Not that we were really ever scared to go to a taco stand, but we just remember what it was like to move to a new country and be a little unfamiliar. And we just want other people to enjoy the fruits of our labor of all the research we did, and which we enjoyed doing, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin's getting all teared up. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'll get you both teared up. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I truly appreciate what you do, and I'm sure that my listeners are going to just eat this all up and have a great time with it.
Thank you.
And just thank you for allowing me to introduce you both to my listeners. I truly appreciate that.
Okay.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin and Inga. You are both so very special. You are such special human beings, sharing your love for the town that we all love so much. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for both of you, really. I have links in the show notes. It'll take you to their to everything they got, the taco stand maps, their craft beer maps, the walk and wobble, the happy hour board, all that stuff in the show notes. You can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. Okay. Well, that, all right. My voice can't take any more. That should do it for this week. Stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta with travel tips, great restaurant excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. Remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, well, you got to go to vallartainfo.com. That's JR's website. Reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything in Puerto Vallarta in exchange for you making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you're going to use someone else. So do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message, please. And don't forget, he's got his maps, he's got his DIY tours, and I have all those in the links of the show. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and follow and share with a lover of Puerto Vallarta, or just give me a good review wherever or however you happen to be listening. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do just that in each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, hey, you really need to go there, have a look. I have links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in my blog posts and in the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out for sure if you haven't already. All right? Okay. All right. Thank you to Kayla Muir from American English Tree. I have all the information for you in the show notes. Take Spanish, and if a Mexican learn English, it's a good thing, really is. And thanks so much to Inga and Kevin McGinnis. These people really like to help you learn the ropes, learn about the bars, the taco stands, the craft beer, the cheap eats, all that great stuff. I have links to all their Facebook pages and the cool Google Maps in the show notes. You can find it at www.puertovallartatravelshow.com. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening all the way through this very scratchy episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you all to slow down, be kind, take care of your voice, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta.